I'm Angela Calla, author of The Mortgage Code, mortgage expert with Dominion Lending Centers, and host of The Mortgage Show on CKNW for the past decade. Canadian lenders have worked together to ensure that throughout any kind of interruption to the financial markets and during this health pandemic, they've worked very fast and in unison to create mortgage deferrals and to adapt their policy to deal with the social distancing aspect of financing. Also, they're really utilizing a common sense approach to be able to help navigate Canadians that were either in the middle of a transaction or still need to make one. Guidelines will always change, but the great thing about the Canadian landscape is it is a market that's looked to around the world for its security and our ability to adapt. What's really interesting is the changes that we hear that happen on the news only really talk about the extreme aspects of getting a mortgage. And although they've delayed the stress test reduction, because of the reduction in interest rates, it kind of offsets what the stress test was going to do anyhow. And when we think about the stress test, it's important for Canadians to understand the reason why our Canadian market is so strong is because of all these checks and balances that we have in place. So anybody who's acquired a mortgage or getting a mortgage moving forward has been approved at a rate that is 2% higher than the rate they're going to pay. So regardless of what happens in our marketplace, they've been looked at with prudence, they've been looked at with care, and we've put the steps in place to help them be able to navigate anything that happens in their journey within their control or outside of our control. So we hear words like the stress test, and of course it has its little box of qualifications, but what's also happened is that there's other lenders that have come to the marketplace that don't have a stress test, that have different sets of guidelines, and that's the great thing about competition in our marketplace. And as realtors, you're in such a great position to really partner with the homeowners that you help throughout their journey to educate them that partnering with an independent mortgage professional will give them access to all these new options that are coming out. Well, what COVID-19 has done is really had everybody kind of take stock of their financial home. And while we live in a world where it's easy to be swayed to get this in 60 seconds, it's really important to understand that in order to fully understand the mortgage process, it's incredibly important to have a full review of your credit, a full review of your income, and understand what types of things may happen between your specific dates in your contract to ensure that you're protected. Because there will always be things that happen outside of our control, lenders always reserve the right to ask for additional documentation. But if you're aware of what will be required for your unique circumstance, it removes the stress that can be somewhat associated with purchasing a home. Lenders have adapted very quickly to support Canadians throughout this time period, but it is incredibly important that we always focus on the fundamentals. And the only way that you can guarantee that you have the best mortgage solution and protection for you while you're shopping for a home is to collaborate together with your mortgage professional to ensure that everything on your credit has been reviewed. If there's anything better that can be improved on your credit score to help you get a better mortgage or something that you should watch, you can be advised accordingly. Know that when you're getting your income documentation to the lender, that they can have certain questions on certain aspects of it, and they can always require up-to-date information. And depending on the dates in which your pre-approval happens, the accepted offer happens, your subject removal happens, and your completion, there's a lot of things that can only be done in those unique times. And as those dates pass, certain documentation will be required. While these are practices that we look to really be more cautious with during COVID-19, these practices will guarantee a very smooth transaction no matter where we are. Some fundamentals never change.